forgot that there's a bot set up to announce to everyone that was streaming. Nice. Nice. I haven't got the stream up, but I can, because I didn't want to, yeah, double do the thing, but it's fine. I can grab the stream. That's not a problem. I see. Screen is bigger than the width of the thing. That's fine. I wouldn't worry too much about that. I don't think anyone's going to really notice. I'll keep an eye on it. I'll adjust accordingly. Nice. Oh, I'm so nervous. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, that's reasonable. Yeah, see, people are coming in and doing that exclamation point welcome thing. I don't know how you set those up, if I'm to be honest.
Right. Hello, everybody. How we doing? Can you all hear me, everyone? Just double checking. No? Hold on. Let's make sure we're getting everything. Can you hear me now, everybody? Still an echo? How strange. Let's try that. Is that better? We're testing out all our audio today, guys. I'm hoping that's going to work better. Could you just chuck a little emoji in chat so I know you can hear me? Fab. Wonderful job. I'm not sure why we're getting an echo. It's very odd. It could be Discord. I'm not sure. You can hear me, but the phone is really good. How strange. Right, I will project. I'll project a little bit louder. That might help. Mute Discord. Let's have a go. The issue with that is I won't be able to hear. How's that? The only thing is Ash won't be able to hear me then. How's this? Thank you for struggling across along with us, guys. I appreciate you all, you fantastic people. Okay, well, I will keep trying and just seeing what's going on. If there's any other issues, just let me know. I just want to say, yeah, here we go. All right then. Lovely. So, welcome everyone to our community Q&A with our demos. I am really excited to show you what kind of a jam-packed hour we've got up for you. We're going to be doing a bit of a sneak peek at the community created character that you've all been doing, the Ferrovox mage that you've all been creating, which is really exciting. And then we're going to be doing a little bit of a Q&A with Ash as well. We'll be taking your questions and doing a bit more of a deep dive into what makes this game and what's happening with the game. And you can ask him all different questions and all the rest of it. While we're getting settled, just double check that echo's gone, which should be good. And I will start introducing you to Ash. So, this is Ash. We should be able to hear Ash. Could we just kind of let me know if you can hear him too? We're doing a lot of
big old hello, just in case.
Fabulous. All good. Fabulous. Glad we're getting some people here and we can all hear us. That's wonderful.
Good.
So like I said, Ash is going to be here to take us through the demo, which I think you've all been playing. I can see you've all been talking about the fact you've been playing it in the chat. Anyone not played the demo yet? Anyone haven't had a chance to do it? This could be a really good opportunity to kind of open the PDFs up. If you haven't got them yet, go follow, get them, download them as Ash goes through. And any questions you have, let us know what they are for Ash.
Worth doing.
It's going to be great. But before we actually get started with all the demo stuff, we wanted to kick something off with something very cool. So I'm going to hand over to you, Ash, for this. This is honestly super exciting. Have you got your display ready with...
I do, technically. I mean, I can just load it up as soon as we swap over.
Fab. Okie dokie. Let me show it. So Ash has got something fabulous and exciting to show you.
Right. So let me know when you need me, because I can't see what you're.
Yep, you're
sharing.
ready. You're ready now.
All right. So, obviously, everyone has answered the amazing questions on the Backkit update page and been part of the community. Answering the polls, etc. And using all of that, we managed to put together a really amazing piece of artwork for all of you. So here is the first look at the brand new, I guess, NPC that we're going to be adding to Drakonym. The Ferrovox that was created by all of you. Here we are. Look at that. This is absolutely beautiful. Yeah, I mean, I apologize about the stream quality. You can't really get it, so we'll definitely send this out at some point so you can all get a real good look. But I'll zoom in here to more of the finer details. We have the Ferrovox as you guys designed. We took some inspiration from a lot of the comments that we got, such as the damage to the ears, the slight burning on his wrench/wand to showcase the just explosive nature of his artisan background, and then the crystals and the other bits and bobs sort of showcasing that wizard background that he wizard class or mage class that he has too. Overall, it's come together way better than I would have expected. We then worked on the dragon using a lot of the notes that we saw and we thought it'd be a fun idea to give the dragon a prosthetic limb to, just the idea of it played with the wrong item a bit too much, and then it blew up, lost its arm, and then he had to create a new piece of kit for it. So you can see that the arm is just riddled with the leather that holds it together, the metal that binds it all. You've got the wood sort of that brings it to movement, and then you've got the brass hand as well. All of this powered by the crystals, the same ones that are on the Ferovox's clothing and earring, and also his wand. Overall, absolutely gorgeous piece. I could not be happier with how it's come out. It is just phenomenal. But I think the coolest part is the fact that this was created by the community. None of us internally really had much input on who this character was. Well, if any, actually. The only things we spoke to was the artist who did the artwork for us and what we wanted. But realistically, we just copied and pasted what we saw in the comments. So this is your character as much as it is ours. And it's a very exciting piece of content because it's also going to be part of the free adventure that you get if you follow the project and also back it when it releases. If you are to do that, then you'll get this one-shot adventure with a few extra bits I'm not going to reveal at this stage, but you will be helping the Ferovox with their sort of adventure going down into the secrets of the vault to try and find some hidden mysteries. So it's a very exciting time, to be honest. And that's the Ferovox that the community created.
Honestly, it's super duper exciting. I absolutely love this creature. I'm really hyped. One of the things we were going to ask the community was actually about the dragon, wasn't it?
Mm, yes. So we would like all of you in the community, even here on the Twitch or in the Backer Kit updates, to give us a name for this dragon. The Ferovox is named Fizbin, and we will need a name for the dragon that goes alongside that. Something quirky, something related to the themes of the artisan and the mage. So
Yep.
just anything you guys can think of would be amazing.
100%. If you've got any ideas, pop them in chat. We'd love to see them. I'll be keeping an eye on the chat over the next kind of hour because I'm going to be running all your questions. In a second, Ash is going to pop into the demo and have a look at all the gorgeous stuff in there. We got a new follower goal. 330. Congratulations. Didn't
Oh,
even know
nice.
that alert was up there. So 330 followers. Amazing. Exciting. But yeah, in a second, Ash is going to pop the demo up on screen. We're going to have a look through. And if you've got any questions, keep throwing them into the chat because I'm going to keep an eye on them. I'm going to collate them. Either Sophie, who is running our chat today under the Crosspass RPG name, so everyone give some love to lovely Sophie, or I will help you either answer that question or we'll pop it over to Ash. Please come up with difficult questions for Ash. All the wild ones, ask him what his favourite dice is. I just want you to kind of bombard him. So anything you've got a question for, let us know. I don't know how to pronounce that. Or board? Or babe? Or bardy? Could you help me with the pronunciation of that, David? Or
Uh,
board? Oh, it's such a really
yeah.
pretty name. But yeah, if you
My
get the
stream
demo.
seems to have disappeared off of your screen. So I'll just check the link is still working. Oh, there we go. We're back up. Sorry, it just keeps disappearing.
Yeah,
But
I
that's
can
fine.
see everything. Or board, or board. Fantastic. That's cute. Is it? You said it's a poem. Is it someone famous? Is it a famous poem? Can I look it up, or is it one that you've written yourself? That's very cool. Or board. Yeah, if you get the demo up, Ash, we'll start
Yeah,
forwarding
no
questions.
worries. Character demo.
Love that.
Right. So, should we look through the entire demo in its full form, or should we do it a bit more, sort of
Let's
like?
do its full. Let's have a look at, from the beginning, like from the very beginning. Have a look all the way through. Take us on this journey.
So the journey is the name of the full demo. It is going to be the collated information for all of that together. So this is what new players and the people who join the campaign at a later stage will receive. But those of you who follow the campaign, you will have received it in separate parts. But the new links will take you to this, which is the full version of the demo. It's a very exciting bit because with any game, the most daunting part is getting into it. I could list you all the rules on pages, but it's never going to be as easy as it is just going to like playing it. So that's partly why I created this demo. The biggest question I had was, how do I make people who've never played a TTRPG enter this world without too much difficulty. So when putting this together, that was my main sort of focus. And yeah, if I'm to go through it, I mean, we've got some gorgeous artwork. I think that goes without saying, but all the pieces of
Stunning.
artwork in this book are just absolutely stunning. So it's really exciting that we're able to even make this happen. So a huge shout out to all of the artists who have worked with us on this. And then a huge shout out to all the games that helped inspire this. But I will touch on those when we actually go to launch. So, if you've played the demo, you will have already experienced this. But one of the things I wanted to do was make every aspect of it feel like the character creation section in a video game, where you're running through the first level, making choices that affect the final character that you end up with. And by the end of that quest, you should have a fully built out character with everything you need, enough knowledge on the gameplay to be able to just do your thing. So that's where I went in with this, where I wanted to introduce people into the core aspects of the world. So that's why you have four kin that you can choose from. The Norborn, for those familiar with Brambletrek, an elf, just because fantasy brings in those elves. Drakari, because it's one of the more, I mean, it's a dragonborn essentially, but we're trying to use them as they're a big part of the world. Dragons, Drakari, all this other stuff. So they were really important for me to hold there. And then the Arbor, who are our new, essentially, deer folk that we're introducing into the world. So I wanted to give someone an opportunity to use them if they wished. But there's enough here that you could go any path and it's going to be completely unique to the others. So that's why I went down this sort of pathway for it. And the basic idea is you would run through the adventure and it will ask you questions such as, whose bed is this? And you will be prompted to journal as you go through. So in this example, while we're sort of going through this, let's say that I pick a Norborn. I've got all my notes. It tells me my talents and it tells me where on the character sheet to note these down. Because again, with any new game, the biggest difficulty is, okay, I've got these things. What do I do with it? We don't want to leave you on your own to just figure it out. We want to make sure that you have the tools that you need, and I can give you the guidance to get there. Which is why in the scene 2, once you've picked everything you need from scene 1, you will start picking your attributes. The game uses 6 attributes: body, gods, mind, shadow, soul, and world. And each of those represent a certain aspect of Akaroth. But all of them, every single person, is bound by those attributes. So when you pick a god to essentially give favor to, they will provide you with the tools you need to gain power. And as with all the scenes, it will tell you where on your character sheet to note these details down. So I really enjoyed putting the first 2 scenes together because you don't just get into the game and it just says, hey, here's all you need, just do it. You start making choices. It feels like a choose your own adventure. Your choice of god doesn't just affect your stats, it also gives you a bit of lore to sort of like bite down on. Should you go into a full campaign or you have a solo campaign, you can dive into this a bit deeper. Why did you choose the statue of C4? Why did you choose the statue of Mordred? These questions start coming up a bit more often. And I think that's a really exciting part for me when it came to the design of this. What I don't want to do is give away too much for those people who've not played this. So I don't know, Ruby, if you had any ideas of what we could do alongside it, just because, yeah, there are spoilers ahead.
Yeah,
So I want
100%.
to,
There's
yeah.
spoilers ahead, so if you don't want to be spoiled, go follow now, download it, and follow along with us rather than getting spoiled. The way you can download this demo is actually Sophie's put the link in chat already. If you go to our Backit page and you click through, if you press follow, just where you just click follow, it will then give you a link to download all the new demos. There is quite a few of them now, so it's very exciting.
6 actually in total, which
Six
is very
full
fun.
books.
Yeah, you've got 5 that take you through the solo adventure, and then one that is a one-shot anthology for people who've just, ideally, people who've done this demo and have then gone, you know what, I want to play in a group, and then a herald comes along and says, you know what, I'll run it for you. All of the one-shots actually run across 2 pages, so you actually don't need to do flipping back and forth. It's just right there. Everything a herald
I
needs to
love that.
run an adventure.
Honestly, I'm one of the people that doesn't like being able to flip through everything without having to know where I'm at, so that's great. Um, just quickly, Arc Magalus has said that they
Mm.
like the mechanic pool dice based system, based on your stats. Maybe you could go into more of what the dice pooling mechanics are and how we
Yeah,
buff
of
them and how
course.
you don't debuff them and how that all works.
So what I found was quite interesting is the fact that
Mage.
I didn't want skills. It was one of those things I decided very early on that skills were a bit finicky. I think in my original idea of it, I didn't have skills, but then I kept adding them because I just felt that oh, games like Call of Cthulhu have so many skills. Why don't I just add more? Because then every potential aspect of the game is covered. I ended up with I think 35 skills overall, which was ridiculous. So you had all the six stats, but then you had skills like archery, horse riding, whatever. And what I figured out quite late into that, which prompted the question of whether or not I should change the attributes, was when you can do a lot and when you're given choices and
Do you want
buttons
to
to
say that
press,
again?
you kind
Your audio cut out for a second then. Sorry.
Sorry, I was just saying that when you're given a load of skills and a lot of buttons to press when you're
Yeah.
playing, you start to not want to do many things. When you get rid of skills, everyone can do anything. It's then just a matter of rolling the dice to see what happens. But I guarantee you, in a group of four, if someone has the highest pickpocket skill or thief skill, they will be the ones to always pickpocket. Now, there is an argument to be made that those people are trained in that, so they should be able to do it more often. But I would argue that it is more fun when the barbarian who does not have this skill and is really bad at it tries it. But they won't because they don't want to face failure. Everyone is put on an even playing field at level one. And I think everyone tries everything at level one. But when you get to level 4 or 5 or even 10 in games, other TTRPGs, you start to fall into the same archetypes, the same routine of
Yeah.
we enter a room, I'm going to lockpick this, I'm going to break this, I'm going to research this.
Can
What
I
I
loot the
want
body?
is exactly. I want everyone to be able to do everything without the fear that, well, failure is going to happen. It's part of the fun. But I don't want you to go, I'm not going to do this because my skill is zero. So the reason that I have six stats is the Herald isn't meant to tell you what you can and can't do. You are
Yep.
meant to describe narratively what it is you want to do. The Herald then assigns that some, I guess, realistic outcomes. So, for example, if you say, "All right, I want to go and pickpocket this guy who's inside this room," that might be body plus shadow. But if you say, you know what, I'm going to pickpocket this guy, but I'm going to try and use something in my surroundings, that might be shadow plus world.
Yeah.
Your stats start to be more flexible and you're not bound by the single, I guess, the archetypes that the initial stat allows for. You might be really powerful and your gods might be really high because your divinity connection is really strong, but then your body might also be high because you're physically powerful. But then you've got the other side of it too, where you could go the other way, and suddenly you're a character who's physically strong with high body, but then your mind is very adept as well. And I love the idea of how you can figure out what attribute a character has. And when I spoke to the rest of the team about this, because we play tested it, and I found that it was just really overwhelming when you had so many skills to pick from.
Yeah.
I just went, what if we got rid of the skills? What do you guys think? And then they came up with these the core aspects of it that tied into the world lore. And then I wrote the lore that deepened into it, and it just made sense. I think everyone was happy once we had made that change. The game ran way quicker because we weren't checking our sheets for anything. Everyone just said what they wanted to do. I then named two skills. You grabbed the dice, you added your bonus, you rolled it. And I think there is a dice goblin in all of us.
Uh,
That's one of the main reasons that the dice system is just pool dice rather than you roll a d20. But also, I like the maths. The bell curve you get on multiple dice, I'm always going to prefer that to the single 5% on every single roll because it allows for swingy, sort of like not swinginess, it gets rid of the swinginess, which is what D20 does. It allows you to have more realistic expectations for your character's outcome due to the skills that you have. If you know your character's good at something, then yeah, you're more likely to do it. But then you also know that if your character isn't great at it, due to the bell curve, there is a good chance you'll succeed anyway. So you start to mentally give things a go, when you
Yeah.
know that there's a good chance you might come out with it, which makes the failure or the critical failures or whatever it is even more enticing because when they happen, it's rarer. But also the same with the like explosions and the critical successes and whatever. Because of the way that the bell curve works, you're most likely to get a standard success or just the basic outcome you wish for. But then the extremes on either end are way less likely, which means when they happen, they mean more. And that was really important to me. I just wanted the feeling of when you're playing to be really exciting.
Yeah, 100%. I think you talk about the idea of failure, and I think failure isn't something that we should be afraid of in these TTRPGs. Sometimes they make for the best moments or the most dramatic moments as well. So I think being
Absolutely.
able to feel free to give things a go, I think is really important. Excuse me. Talking of failure, I wonder if it's worth just mentioning the shadow die. Um, and if anyone's got any more questions about demo, please let me know. Please pop them in. Oh, we've got one from Archmage. Will there be some sort of master guide to help create new event or locations? I did not do all of the demo, but took a quick look. If I would like to create a new adventure for myself and my friends, would it be hard?
So we have 3 books that are going to release with this title. We have the core rulebook, the Herald's Guide, and the solo rulebook. They are literally as they sound. The player's core rulebook is going to be everything you need to run the game in terms of rules, everything a player needs in terms of player options, etc., items, what have you. But also a bunch of monsters so you can get started. The Herald's Guide is for those people who want to run a game, write adventures, create content and stuff inside the world of Akaroth. It's essentially my brain on paper. Anything and everything that I've ever thought of for the world is in that book. I'm not going to show you anything about that today because there's a lot going to be on the campaign page about it. But essentially, that is where you're going to look for guides. So, as I mentioned earlier, the way that these one shots work is they're spread across 2 pages. So this one, Embers of the Last Vigil, is a one shot that will take you about a session to complete. Oh, my camera died. Why is
No,
I'm
you're
blind?
back. You're back. It
Okay,
only
cool.
flashed for a second.
So you would be able to run this in a single session because it's structured in a way that you, as the herald, can easily ascertain exactly what you need. What I didn't want to do is create a adventure guide that was like 500 pages and told you if this then that. Oh, but if they do this then this. Blah 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 blah. I hate those. Essentially, what I want is to create a template that anyone can use and just write in exactly what you want, and then you know that when you run the session, you only need this information. Because what every herald and every GM realizes later on is you can never predict for what a player is going to do. It's impossible. You might as well prepare for the key moments that you need and just fill in the rest later when the players come to do their thing. So in this example, the scene structure is really, really small. So when you enter the fading glyphs, it will say that, oh, they find an entryway to this, and one of the NPCs will urge them to keep going. That's everything you need as a herald to then say, okay, so all of you arrive, and Calvera says to you that the time is running out, her hourglass is just running out of sand, and she urges you to continue on. Who would like to do something? They stabilize the glyph circle, or they do something else. It doesn't matter because you're prepared for when they want to start moving on with the story. You're not sitting there going, oh, but they haven't done this. Oh, but they haven't done that. Because in other TTRPGs, what I've noticed is they'll give you a room with 50 things, but the players will only ever touch one, or they'll touch something that isn't in the book. And I don't want any herald to ever panic about the idea of they've not done this or they've done something I haven't expected. Lean into the unexpected. It's more fun that way anyway. So that's why I give you minimal, like the guide to do minimal things, because realistically, players don't need like 50 things. Just give them 4. They'll pick the shiniest, and then they'll pick one of the NPCs that's like the Boblin the Goblin and take them with you. So keep on what's going to be the key there. So to answer
Bobbing the
your
Goblin's
question, long and
great.
short, yes, there will be a template inside it to help you write events and also locations.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things I'm loving about Drakonym the most is the flexibility of the system as well. It's not only in character creation, in the way that we actually kind of you run encounters and the way that you can do things, also the way you can play. Like you're talking about this as a GM, but you could also play solo, completely solo, and you could also play GMless. So you could play with your group of friends with no GM, and you all run it together, but as a party, which I think is really exciting.
Yeah,
Um, it's
yeah,
no more
that's
forever
a lot
GMs.
of
It's
fun.
really exciting.
It's one of those things I really wanted to try and make work for this because with all our other games, we always look at them from the broader perspective, and I always design them as solo first. It's always my bread and butter. I know how to do that. It's one of the things I enjoy doing. With this one, I knew I needed it to be group played. Creating a game this big, but allowing it only to be played solo wasn't the way forward. So I
Yeah,
had to develop the system alongside the solo system at the same time so that they worked together and it didn't feel one like I was tacking on the solo system later, but then also that the you could go back and forth and not miss a beat. It was really hard, if I'm to be completely honest, but
yeah,
it works. People have tried it. Who have tried the solo system have said that they enjoy the just sheer amount of stuff you get. I will say this is the biggest solo book I have ever written, um, and the amount of stuff that you can do just purely using the mechanics I've written in is just ridiculous. You can run any type of story, and it is meant to be there as a helping hand rather than a sort of like here are the only 10 prompts that you have. You're never going to get more than this. It's meant to be more open ended, so you can create the story that you want to tell.
yeah, 100%. Um, Coming back to this demo, with the 5 demo pieces and then the 6th kind of adventure
Mm-hmm.
book, could you go through what each of the demos kind of covers and what exciting? Because I know the first one is more about like character development, and you've given
Yeah,
just
of
like a
course.
small selection of some of the character choices, isn't it? It's not the whole selection.
Yeah, so Awakened is all of the demos together will be called the Journey. But if you are looking at it from part by part, then you've got Awakened, which is demo one. That takes you through the idea that you've woken up in this world and you don't have your memories. You're trying to figure out where your place in this world is. You're given four kin. You're given all four classes because I didn't think it was right to say you only have choice of two. I needed to allow people to do what they wanted.
Mhm.
So that's where you start off with. You're also then given a choice of four backgrounds out of 12. I know out of eight, sorry, which gives you a broad enough spectrum of what you can do. And then you're also given just a few more things to train you in the combat system. This demo is literally meant to be start creating your character, test out the dice system. It isn't gonna be too much for a new player because I designed it that way. You make very minimal checks, but it teaches you how to make the checks slowly. Um,
Yeah.
Part two
Just
is
before
called
you move on to
Unbound.
part two,
Yeah, no, sorry, go on.
we've got Archmage who's asked, "Is it possible to multi-class?"
So we haven't got a demo for this, but technically, yes, our system does allow for multi multi something. It's essentially the path system. When you reach a certain level, currently it's level 3, but it may change with playtesting. You will pick what is known as a path. There are one of 20 that you can pick from. Every single one different from the others because what I wanted to do is the class is essentially your base. It's what your archetype for your combat is. It's what you trained as when you started your adventure, because the game assumes you are an adventurer who has already done this. So that's why the journey is a level zero adventure. You get to level 1 once you finish the first part. Um, then you will pick from one of 20, and that will be deeper sort of like abilities. So I really want to try not to give up the ghost here, but essentially you've got a wide range. You've got like paths like the wizard that extend on their magical ability. You've got paths like the light bearer, who some of you may recognize from Throne of Luster, are people who can use the power of light to cast magic. You've got the scout, who is essentially your ranger, hunter, woodsman type character who specializes in traps. You've then got your sage, who has a animal companion. You've got the Lancer, who is a monster hunter. It is a very broad spectrum, and I want to. You will see all of them at the when the campaign goes live. It will be on the page.
Yeah,
But yeah, technically multi-classing, no. But what I didn't want to do is make it a problem for balancing.
yeah,
So the current way it does is you and your class and your path can mix together and match no matter how you build them, just for the fun of it. But also there are obviously going to be optimal ones. Like a mage wizard is always going to be better than a fighter wizard. But I think we found ways to keep that balance from being more like this to a bit more like this, where you're getting really close, and a fighter wizard could realistically keep up with a mage wizard. And that's my multi-classing system, because what I didn't want is someone who multi-classes into multiple things, only gaining like the first level aspect of everything, and
Mm.
it's just a mess. I think that multi-classing can work in certain scenarios, but in this game, you only go up to level 10. So what I didn't want to do is bog down that by saying you can't multi-class and you have to go 20 levels without doing it. Instead, I cut the number of levels in half, made it so you're more powerful the more you go. Because most campaigns, you get to level 10, you don't really see level 20. You're building out all these fantasies of all the cool stuff you'll do at level 20 to never achieve them. I wanted to make sure that you could, so that's why it goes up to level 10. So to answer your question, technically yes.
Yeah. So yes, but under a different name, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
100%. Sorry to interrupt. Unbound. That's the second one. What are
No,
we
no,
doing
no.
in Unbound?
So Unbound will be where you pick your dragon.
The
This
best place.
will introduce you to the sort of deeper laws, and you'll adventure into one of the cave systems to discover something.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to spoil it for people who've not gone into it, but this is the one where you pick your dragon. So if you've done part one and you're like, oh, where's my do not fret. Part two, you will be able to pick your dragon. There is a choice of 4 out of the 8 dragons available. Again, I didn't want to overwhelm players with that whole aspect, and also giving too much up early on would also mean that you guys wouldn't be able to experience this for the first time in different ways. So, wanted to make sure that that was possible. Um,
Can we have a cheeky,
then,
sneaky look at some of the dragons? Just one of the dragons. Just a little cheeky look.
um,
There you are. That's
Yeah,
maybe that's all
so
we
I will
need.
show you the eggs. Yeah, so we've got the blue egg, the green egg, the red egg, and the yellow egg. What that means is beyond me at this stage, but you guys will figure that out when you're playing. So yeah, pick your egg, write it down, and you may or may not hatch it. Who knows? We'll see.
Out of interest in the chat, if you have played the demo, I'd love to know what dragons you've picked, and kind of if you've got a name for them as well. Um, oh, how cool! We've got someone. Blue Kitten has said in the chat. I spoke to some friends who are super excited to use this game as a frame to make a fourth wing TTRPG.
Yeah, that was one of the big inspirations, of course, for any dragon related content. You kind of do get into that. One of the big things was Fourth Wing, House of the Dragon, How to Train a Dragon was the biggest one, if I'm to be completely honest. And
Yeah,
this game is almost perfect for that. I don't want to give up too much, but there will be a one-shot adventure set inside a dragon training school, so do look out for that inside the final game. That is going to be there. I'm very excited about that.
amazing. Archmage's I can't say your name. Magelus has said that they've named their dragon Thunder, and Dwarton has said as they've chosen a pyre dragon whose name is Ashes, who is, despite his
Hey, well,
fiery
there we go then.
outlook, very cuddly. Archmage,
Ver
look up Fourth Wing. 100%
yeah,
look up
do
Fourth
look
Wing.
up
It's an
Fourth Wing.
absolute vibe.
It's a very nice book to learn more about the dragon bonding side of things as well. Cuddly has never been a term I have related to the Pie Dragon, but I love them because they're so chonky. Like I don't know why they are so chonky. I don't know
I
when
feel
this
like a
happened in our
chunky
design
dragon is
process,
definitely going to be
but it
cuddly.
just
Like,
made sense though.
hundred
Like
percent. I think they look so chunky, but I think that like obviously the fire dragons are very protective. They're very kind of not aggressive, but aggressive. But like if they're your bonded dragon, I can just so see how they're like it's grumpy one is sunshine one kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? It's that kind of
yeah,
really
gentle
cute,
giant type vibes. Yeah,
really.
I can
You're
see that for
chunky boy,
sure. Yeah.
exactly. Chunky boy is the best way to speak about a fire dragon for sure.
Mhm. Yeah.
But yes, that's the second one.
Yes, that's the second one. So the third one is known as Before the Storm. That one takes you into the first settlement, and you'd be learning a bit more about, interacting with locations and stuff like that. So the first thing it tells you is it calls back immediately to your first choice, and
Yeah,
it asks you if you're these types of races, you have a different interaction with the world, which I felt was really important because a lot of games I find don't have the world building where you have differences in your cultures and stuff, and these things are going to come to a head at certain points. They are, Someone has said this before, but if you have a zoology of races, how do they get on with each other? You can't just have a zoo that's open and not expect things to go wrong. I wanted there to be some level of this, interaction. Now, obviously, these are all lighter in terms of what they happen, but the Herald's Guide will teach you about how certain cultures interact with one another. But this is it. Like, if you're an elf, they just assume that you're going to, be quite interested in the world. So they say you've read the walls already. If you're a Drakari, then they're not hostile to you, but they talk about the ancient side of this place because as Drakari, you descend from the gods. There's a bit more of a divine connection there, and the Arbor aren't very well seen inside the forest, outside the forest. So they're curious about who you are. And the Norborn, it's they're they're small. You played Bramble Trek, they're like gritty, so they're really impressed that you made it this far because Norborn aren't always known for big adventures. So if you are bringing your Bramble Trek character here, that is one of the things that you'll notice. So it takes you through that. It takes you through the interactions with the world, but also most importantly, actually, it takes you into the first bonding with your dragon,
Yeah.
where you'll start bonding together with them, and you'll also be able to practice spells for the first time and use our brand new spell system to create your own.
Genuinely, I think the spells is bit. I'm so excited about us talking about this. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of questions in the comments about this. We've got some extra bits on this. We've got a Bramble Trek group that are looking forward to sharing it with the group they've been playing with. Um, just so you know,
I'm very
David,
excited about that. Yeah, that's
um,
cool.
if you are a past backer, you do get a little bonus for this, where you're going to get a specific thing that's going to allow you to bring your characters into Drakonym. So please do keep an eye on that. It's been very exciting. All you need to do is make sure you are
Yeah.
backing with the same email address you did last time.
Yeah.
Um,
So the backgrounds will be give you those social skills that relate to the theming behind the games. So the Norborn, well, the Bramble Trek one will give you social skills related to the lore in Bramble Trek. You'll notice a lot of like Easter eggs within them, and it's more meant to be bringing your character over. Because I know that some people are sort of expecting to bring stats over and stuff. Unfortunately, because they are inherently different games, it is near impossible to do that. But what I wanted was to give you a. I don't know if anyone has done like old, even when like during the PS2 era, especially, and even now with some games, you have the save data bonus, where if you have the save data from the first game, you get a bonus in game that rewards you for being part of the first one. That's what I was trying to do here, where because you've played that previous one and joined that campaign, you get something to carry your character over. Because without the followers, we wouldn't be here, and without the backers from the previous campaign, we would also not be here. So, little something from us to you to give you the ability to bring your Bramble Trek, your Ashes, or your Comes of Midnight character over with unique backgrounds that aren't available in the core game. They will be only available to you guys, which is very exciting.
it is really exciting. Um, Proto Sid, I'm not sure which way it is, has said, I love the Tubster's dragons. Dragons themselves are the cutest creatures. And then has a question. When/if a dragon is hatched, does the module decide what they look like, or do we have a factor
Oh
playing
no,
on how
no, no,
the egg
no.
was cared for? Is it what
You
happens
are
to
in
the
control
dragon
of the
at the
narrative.
shinies?
You are absolutely in control of the dragon. The way that I would see this is you are given a guideline. None of what I say is set in stone because at the end of the day, you can mess with my lore as much as you want because I'm not going to know. You can do whatever you want. Please have fun with it. We have had people who have drawn their aura dragons with different shades of purple. They've changed the shape, but they've kept the basic idea alive. And that's really what this is meant to be. The dragon is going to base look like this. You can then add whatever you want. You want to give it an extra horn? Go for it. Because the idea is like not every elephant looks the same. Not every zebra is going to look the same. The number of stripes might be different, but the essence across them is going to be the same.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get with this. The dragons are yours to do with as you wish. You could do whatever you want, but we provide the base, the silhouette that you can then work off of.
I think that's absolutely should. They've also said, is there shinies? Um, I love the idea of a shiny dragon, like a holographic dragon.
There,
There are gone.
so I don't want to reveal anything on this yet because there is something I have planned that I cannot speak to just yet. So Maybe. Who knows? Potentially, there might be. I don't want to reveal anything on that just yet. There is something that I'm working on.
We're getting some smiley faces on that. We've also got another question from Blue Kitten, which is: will the system allow for custom build dragon species and abilities?
Um, it found to be abilities, absolutely. The entire game is built around the idea that you and your dragon are going to be as unique as anyone else. No two players realistically will ever have the same dragon because you you create the abilities. To go into a bit more detail on it, just because I think it is really important to understand, when you create your dragon, you will answer questions, and you will answer these questions, such as you'll build a trait, and it says name the trait, give it an effect, and then give it a limitation. So if we go into the Pyre Dragon, you have stuff like Ashwood Pride. When you comfort a threat with your conviction, your dragon bolsters you. Gain bless on your next check to defend or a value or ally verbally. This was not like pre-written by me in like a broader sense. I wanted to make it so like all of these were made up by me on the spot when I was writing this, rather than being something I brought in from the core game, because I wanted to show everyone that it is possible to do whatever you want. These things are limited by your imagination, what the Herald says in terms of rules. But if you're playing solo, then forget what they're saying. You can do whatever you want. This is your game. I am just giving you the tools you need to create whatever dragon you wish. In terms of creating your own dragon species, again, there is something I'm planning, not maybe not for this game, because I just think that I focused very heavily on the specific dragon families, but Akaroth has been known to have experiments where certain things have been mixed. I cannot speak to what that means just yet, but all I will say is I am working on something in the background that might come up in the future. And as any of our previous backers know, we provide free content for all our games post-campaign to keep the story going. So maybe something will come up, but I cannot speak to that right now.
100%. And yeah, just keep any ideas you have and things like that that you'd love to see, let us know, because like we said, we're going to keep creating content well after launch, so we will be keeping an eye on these suggestions from the community. So if you ever have any
Yeah.
ideas, pop them in the chat now, obviously, but also pop them in our Discord. We'd love to have you part of the community. We've got some fab comments here. We've got Archmage who says how many followers to get real dragons as thanks. I reckon 1.6 million. I reckon we'll
You know
invest
what? If
in
we
things.
could, well, 1.6 million followers, mind you,
Followers, yes.
not money. I think the current situation with cell splicing and all that's a bit taboo. So I'm not too sure, but we'll see. You never know. Who knows?
We can look into it.
But
We could look into it.
yeah, we'll definitely look into that.
Um, and then we've got another person said, who's, I'm a have a guy who gets an egg that thinks it's an egg, dragon egg, and then it'll just turn out to be a spider. Then he'll go around telling everybody he has a unique ground dragon, which is the
Yeah,
rarest type of dragon, the deadly spider drake, which I think is a fantastic little one to have.
that does
Um,
track actually. Yeah.
Blue Kit has also said, sorry if it was said earlier, but is there a timeline for when an egg hatches to when the dragon is large enough to ride?
So, the way that the system for bonding works is you have to answer questions on the dragon, as I said earlier. So, you would write down certain things that your dragon likes, certain things that they fear, and certain things that they will jump into immediately. This is known as your dragon's heart, and this is your love, fear, and instinct. These three things together will create something that your dragon is inherently part of. When you act towards their love, or they do something that the herald deems very cool, or you do something that is very interesting to the dragon, you will gain what is known as a bond, and you will have a track of 6. So essentially imagine it as XP, if you will. So once you gain 6, if it's an egg, your dragon hatches. If it's a hatchling, your dragon grows in size to become a wormling. And then if it gets even bigger, it's up to you and your herald to decide how big the dragon needs to be before you can ride it. Because obviously a Norborn is going to be able to ride a wormling, but a Drakari who is of quite big mass may not be able to do it until they are an adult or adolescent. So you just need 6 instead of it being a curve. I just wanted it to be 6. I just felt that the narrative should tell you when it happens rather than it being something that just randomly occurs. Yeah, so that's where that happens.
I think that's really cool. I think the idea that your dragon is and your dragon bond is what allows you to kind of grow that grow your dragon with their powers and their shape and their size and everything. It really encourages people and players to get involved with the narrative side of things rather than just throwing weapons. It really is a narrative kind of role playing game. It's not a war game. It's something that really going to get involved and get stuck into those storytelling moments that are pretty exciting. Um, we've got someone else just saying that they did it in Jurassic Park, and I'm sure we can do it too. So
Yep.
it's in there. I'm sure we can do it. We also have a question. Do you have a picture of what an arbor would look like? Do they look
Yeah, of
like Groot
course.
or do they look like something else? Um,
Yeah. I think we've not specifically shared. It's definitely it's on the teaser page, but I don't think we attached the name Arbor to it when we showed it off.
yeah,
So I can definitely show it off here. So this is what an Arbor looks like.
very cute. I think we do have some more information about some of the kin and the classes as well and the backgrounds on our updates with some of these pictures. But yeah, this is honestly it's a gorgeous one. Um, could you zoom in a little bit more as well on those antlers? On the antlers, I just think that's a
Yeah,
really cute
absolutely.
look with all the foliage in them. I think they're fantastic. We've got another one saying, "Is there cross-species breeding?" Um, I guess
I'm
it.
assuming they're talking about dragons, but even with the kin,
Yes.
um, yes, there technically is. There are no rules for half kin at the minute, just because I wanted to really focus in on the core aspects of what makes a kin, and I didn't want to half measure it and just say, oh well, you can do half kin and this is how it works. I just really wanted to focus on making this game what it is rather than just trying to do everything.
Yep.
So technically, yes, it is very possible to have an Adafane elf, a Arbor Drakari. These things do occur in the natural form of the world, but as it stands right now, I do not have rules for that. They may come in the future. They may be a supplement that we provide at a later date. I need to decide what way I'm going to go with it, but yeah, it is possible. You may meet NPCs who are these crossbreeds, but if you're talking about dragons, again, same answer. It doesn't currently happen, but the world technically doesn't really have that happen. You wouldn't see a Pyre Shard dragon, although that does sound very cool. So
Yeah.
I'm going to write it down as a note and keep it in the back of my head because it may be something I think about later. But as it stands right now, no. But I am going to keep it in mind.
I love that. That's why you need to put these ideas down, guys, because the more you kind of give Ash ideas, he will run with them and have a look and just investigate in the world whether that would work. Yeah, 100%. Thank you, Sophie, for sharing that. If you want any more sneak peeks at classes, kin, dragons, all on our social media, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, uh, YouTube, get absolutely everywhere. We've been throwing loads of information at the wall, so please have a go of a check. I'd love to hear what people's characters are. Actually, you all told us about your dragons, but I'd love to hear what you chose for your characters during the demos as well. Um, just while they're popping that into chat, Ash, you want to go through the next couple of demos in our last few
Yeah, of
minutes
course.
of stream?
So the next demo is Wonder, which is the larger of the demos. Essentially, this one is the first look at our sort of like solar system and the new design I've gone down in terms of getting something together. This is what I mean by the solo book is the biggest thing I've ever created because the solo system itself is huge. Um, this is going to be on the campaign page, but I think it's not a bad idea to show you anyway at this stage, just because I think it might be a good idea. But the solo system is it's big because you've got stuff like this. If I can get it up, um, I'll see if I can show the thing wherever it is. Part of the problem with having quite large PDFs, trying to get everything you need, it just doesn't always work out. But I think I will be able to have this for you in a second. Um, but yes, this the next one does take us through the solo campaign because it sort of meant to guide you in how the gameplay loop works.
Yeah.
What I will say, it is a very, very, very trimmed down version of it. So this is essentially what the solo gameplay flow could look like. You would sort of take a chance, go into a new area, and then you'll roll for an event. And then you'll roll for a settlement if the event is moving you into a settlement. You might roll for a random encounter table. When I say that this is not as overwhelming as it looks like, trust me, because all you need to do is just follow it, and then it will tell you what you need to do. And then once you've done it once, you just get into a flow. So that's what this is meant to help you with. It's meant to give you a guide into this is the first few things that you will experience. Here's how you might come to answering yes or no questions. And we've got the really cool thing, which is the insight table I designed based around some stuff I saw in the Lord of the Rings, the One Ring RPG. They have a really cool system for creating story prompts. And I thought that I could use something similar with our sort of ideas. So the
Mm-hmm.
example here says, you ask a question and you want the world to answer you. So you'd roll a 1d3. In the full game, it will be different, but you'll roll 1d3, round that down, and then you might use prompt set 2, which is here. Then you roll 3d6, and then you get different answers. So let's, Ruby, ask me a question, and I'll roll some dice here, and then we'll get something going.
Sorry, do you mean actual question?
Yeah, ask me a question. I'll roll some dice, and then we'll see what the prompt comes up as.
What kind of question do you want from me? Sorry, explain.
Like, let's say you're playing solo and you want
Yeah.
to know something about the world, location, whatever. Ask a
Yep.
question that you would ask the GM about a location,
Got you.
and then I'll
Um,
give you a prompt.
so is there anywhere that I can go and buy some camping equipment when we go on an adventure?
That would be a yes or no question. I'm thinking more open-ended stuff. Um, like in this example, the answer is the question is, what are people afraid of? That's not a
Got
yes
you.
or no question. Can't be answered with a yes or no oracle.
Let's.
You
I'm
have
with
to
you.
use the insight table.
What about
So
something like what kind of ways they celebrate? What kind of holidays and things they have?
okay, what kind of holidays? So we'll use, I'll roll a 1d3. I rolled a 2, so we'll use prompt set 2. I'll roll 3d6. I got a 6, a 3, and a 1. So on the first die, I got a 6. So refuse is my action. My second one is 3, which is truth. And then the force is 1, a stubborn guardian. Very cool. So what kind of stuff do they celebrate? Well, years ago, the people of this town refused a god who approached them, or said to be God. He was stubborn. He said he protected the wilds, but they didn't believe him. There was something about his truth that didn't ring with them true. So, yearly, they celebrate the rejection of this guardian and celebrate it as the release they had from the divinity that surrounds them. And they call it the, I don't know, the truth day, I guess. Easy answer. That's the kind of stuff the prompt set can give you.
I love that. I like the idea that you're getting the support as well for this. It's really exciting.
So yeah, that's a really exciting part. That's what the demo part four, threes, no, part four can sort of give you. Then we come into the final demo. Sad times, but does happen. The final demo is called the Final Moments. This is literally a very short demo to get you to grips with combat, really, because
Yeah.
it's one of the larger parts of the game that definitely I think people want to get used to. So you'll make choices like a choose your own adventure where you'll potentially meet people, ask some questions, make checks, and then eventually either fight or retreat from an enemy. It also goes through my new system for stat blocks,
Hmm.
because what I wanted to design was stat blocks that mattered. Every single stat block has enough detail that if you're solo, you have everything you need for your prompts. If you're playing in a group, your GM or Herald will have all the details they need to give you a very rich description of what you see and hear. And it also means that you have the action table, which a Herald could turn around and just pick what they want. But a solo player can just roll a d12 to essentially use it as a like a artificial intelligence in games where they just make choices. You don't need to worry about, oh, but I don't want them to do the most damage to me. I'm going to pick this instead. You just roll. The table will tell you what they do. and it's just meant to be a bit more interactive. So, for example, they have an instinct. They are combat behaviors. So, a blink strike. So, the Shard Wolf will always blink strike weaker enemies in a group and then try and reposition. So, a Herald will know that that's the kind of stuff they need to do. And then the trigger is something that occurs. So, if they're below half health, they will unleash the shard volley and retreat 3 squares. Again, there's a trigger that bases on a certain situation. It also means that it just always happens, which is always fun because it's like in video games where like an attack that you see coming. So you know the next time you fight a Shard Wolf, don't get them below half health because something might occur. Maybe there's another way around it. And then you got reactions which you can use as well. And yeah, it's again,
Uh,
I gave a lot because I felt like I didn't want any part of this to be useless. And I think there's more than enough here that even if you just had these on like cards, you printed them out, you cut them out, you had them at your table, you're ready to go. You don't
yeah,
need much else. It's
a
meant to be
hundred
low
percent.
prep. That's what I was going for.
What I love about these demos is it's giving you a full slice of all the different ways and things you can play with without overwhelming you. It's just like a quick
Yeah.
snapshot of every part of that game,
I
and
mean,
it really
that's the
gives you
thing
a
as well.
sense.
Like the demo part 4 also it takes you into my settlement guidelines because we know that the world is going to be what's the word? Quite broad. So I wanted to make sure that in every 2-page spread, you have everything you need for the world, and you don't need
Yeah,
to go looking through another world book trying to figure out these things. What's the arrival mood like? What are the downtime events in this area? Who are the key
yeah.
NPCs players might meet? Rumors, shop stock, day night discoveries, everything a GM or Herald or solo player might need. Boom, right here.
100% love that. Unfortunately, we're coming right to the end of our hour. We have two more questions in the chat that we'll just
Okay, yeah.
quickly answer before we go. So we've got Proto Sid, who said, "I love the whole dragon bonding system. It's such a deep concept. I feel like other RPGs overlook this. With that said, is there a stabilizer or emotional upkeep you need to have with your dragons? Something to keep them from hating you, or something having stabilization issues, trust issues as you battle and ride?" Well, I meant he said yes. I did mean the dragon cross beading earlier. Really excited to
Okay,
hear.
cool. So yes, there will be some emotional upkeep. If you do something that is attached to the dragon's fear, so let's say, for example, your dragon has a fear of the rain, but you make them fly in the rain, you will start gaining something known as discord, which is the opposite of bond. It doesn't bring your bond down, it just means it's another stat that you have to keep track of. Once your discord gets to 6, you may start losing abilities. Your dragon may start becoming aloof. Essentially, I don't know if anyone will get this reference. I think people will, but if you trade a Pokemon over that is way over leveled and you don't have the correct gym badge, they won't listen to you. That's essentially what happens if your Discord gets too high. Your dragon will start refusing to listen to you, start doing things on their own. Essentially the Herald gains control of them, and it's just not a fun time for anyone. So yes, you will have to take care of them. You have to do things they like. If your dragon's love is song, every time you do downtime, you may need to sing them a song. Now, this is meant to be broad and open, so you as a player can make these choices, and it's not an enforced rule, but it just means that your dragon isn't just another pet. It is something that is going to change with the ebbs and flows, I guess, of the campaign.
Yeah, and we've got an actual system to track that as well. It's not
Yeah.
just a kind of arbitrary, like when you've done things they don't like, they might not react so well. There's a full system that will help you track that, and there are consequences if you start breaking your bond or start creating discordance between you and your dragon, which is really exciting. Um, Mycologist Wizard has asked, I do love the idea of being able to see a monster stat block. But this, sorry, monster stat block. Will this be a good idea of how I can create enemies and how that threat level is determined? We're going to be having a look at that, not today at all, but there will be something to do
I
with
could
some
cover that
monsters. If you're
if
happy to share
it's
it,
not a huge
100%.
yeah, because I've designed this in a way that is quite easy to get a grip on. The Herald's Guide will guide you through custom monsters. I know more than most people how hard it is to create creatures that don't exist in the books like D&D or Cthulhu or whatever. You need to have a way to do this. So I wanted to make it so you have a ton of monsters to choose from, but should you wish to create your own, I guide you through how to do that. I'm also going to be creating tables from where you can choose items based on theme. Maybe you have a flyer, maybe you have a ground creature. There will be attacks that you can just pick and choose from. Essentially, like create your own sort of like a tool. And it's a really interesting way to do it. In terms of threat level, it's a really easy formula. You just take I just want to make sure I get it right because I did change it recently. And maths is always been a fun thing to look at. So I'm just going to double check it in the Herald's Guide before I say something and I get it wrong because, yeah, I want to make sure that it is correct. But the threat level is not meant to be what's the word, like a gospel. It's more meant to be a guideline. So there it is. Yeah, I thought it was the case. It is total number of party members times the average level of your PCs. So if you have a group of 4 people who are level 1, the maximum threat level before it becomes chaotic is threat level 4. So they 4 could reasonably take on 1 threat level 4 creature, or 4 threat level 1 creatures, or 8 threat level half creatures, blah, blah, blah. It's a very easy sort of system to break in because I just wanted to, but as I say, don't use it as a hard and fast rule. It's meant to be a guideline. You might find that your players do not have the skills they need to face a level, threat level 5, or you might find that you throw a really dangerous enemy at them and they just kill it really easily because they're better coordinated. The threat level doesn't take into account magical items, access to special things you might have given them as a herald, or other out of world event stuff. It basically only takes into account their core abilities and the amount of people in that group. So just keep that in mind. But yes, it's a very easy system to get a hang of once you've done it once. And yes, there will be guidelines on how to create your own monsters.
100%. It's Ghost Mummy has just said it's such pretty art. I will just do another shout out to our incredible art team and all the artists that work on this.
Yes.
This book is going to be absolutely chock-a-block packed full of gorgeous art. The demos are already got a good selection, but I don't think you're ready for what we're going to be showing you on Tuesday and all of the stunning art and even animated art we've got.
Do you know how hard it's been to keep it quiet, like from the community? We see it every day at work, but my God, we want to just share it all, but we
have
can't.
been like tight-lipped, resisting pressing share and go on everything. So please come with us on Tuesday, where we're going to be doing another live stream at the same time as this. So it'll be 3 p.m. BST, which is other times, other places around the world. You might have to look that up. I will put all the details out on the Discord and on our updates. Make sure you're following the campaign. It's been wonderful having you here. If you've got any more questions, please feel free to pop them in Discord. We are always on there and we can just answer any of your questions there or hold them back and we can always answer them on Tuesday's live stream as well. So make sure you're following the campaign. Share the demo with share the link with your friends. Get them to play the demo with you. We'd love to hear about all your characters and all your dragons.
Yes.
We are not just going to the creators of the game, we are also giant fans and nerds about it. I am ready to listen to all of your stories about your characters. Anyone that sent them over, I've been absorbing them into my heart and I'm absolutely adoring them. So please keep sending them to us.
Yeah, and it'll be really exciting to see what's out there as well with the demos because I think being the first game I've ever designed a demo for, it's going to be really fun to see what people have come up with. It's the first time ever that I will be able to see people's characters before the game officially releases, which is a very strange feeling, but also very exciting because when we wrap up with the Drakonym campaign, we'll be starting our weekly game again, which is very fun, and it'll be nice to get back to that too, where we play Drakonym each week.
It's been I have missed it. We did a lot of playtesting before this,
It's
and
been
I've missed being able to play.
Yeah.
It's been wonderful. Yeah. Kira says thank you all for such a fun demo. You're more than welcome, Kira. Honestly, it's been a delight kind of bringing it all to you.
Thank you for checking it out. I mean, we wrote it, we put it together, we sent it out. You were the ones who opened it up and then played it. So if anything, thank you for giving you the time to sit down and play it. Learning a new system is never easy. I think that you guys have done amazingly to even give it a good go, and I really appreciate that because there's so many games out there nowadays. Picking one is near impossible, so I really appreciate all of your time.
100%. And yeah, we are so excited. And on Tuesday, we're trying not to give you spoilers, but we've got so much to show you. So please tune in.
It's
We
gonna be a
can't wait
big
to see
day.
you there. We're going to take to the skies together. It's going to be a really big day. So thank you all so much for being here this evening, this morning, or this afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. And
Yep.
we will see you all on Tuesday. See you later,
See you all
guys.
later.
Bye
Thank
bye
you.
bye.
Bye.